are about to go on an adventure. We are going to explore other lands. We are going to jump into other worlds, and I cannot even tell you how excited I am about it. Hello, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Kyla, and in this video, we are going to be doing something that I have been wanting to do for so long. This is actually a video plan that I had for last year, but it just didn't pan out because I was trying to slowly collect these books over time, and you already know by the title what we are about to do. That's right, we are about to read the entire Wayward children's series, including the newest edition, Mislaid and parts Halfknown. I have been trying to slowly collect these over time and not just go ham and order the entire collection. I was trying to find them all secondhand, and I was able to find books 1 through 4 that way and books 7. But the missing ones, I just kept waiting and it wasn't happening. So I did go ahead and order the missing parts. So now we have the collection in its entirety, and it is time for me to read the entire series. Now, I have read books 1 through 4 before. I read Every Heart a Doorway 2 years ago, and then slowly have been reading, but that's as far as I've gotten in the series, is books 1 through 4. So we are going to, of course, reread those first, and then we are going to be diving into uncharted territory, the unknown, with books 5 through 9. I seriously cannot wait, and let me tell you, like, this is my favorite cover, I think, ever. I have a thing for dinosaurs. I am obsessed with dinosaurs. So I am so excited about this one. But honestly, I've heard just incredible things about all of these. I'm also so excited for Lost in the Moment and Found, because I've heard that this one is really like a heartbreaker, and like I'm here for that. I just love this series, at least what I've read so far, so much, and I just feel incomplete having not read the rest of them yet. So that's what we are going to do in this video. We are going to rectify the situation and read the entire series. I'm going to try to keep this spoiler free. If for some reason I do feel the need to talk about something, I will for sure warn you beforehand and put something on the screen, but I'm going to try to keep it spoiler free. I honestly am spoiler free for all of the ones that I have not read yet. I have not watched any vlogs. I have not read any reviews. The only, like, I've gotten little snippets here and there and maybe about like who's a book about, but other than that, I don't know anything about who we're following in each one, which just makes me so excited. And if you didn't know, in this series, so starting with books 1 and then every other from there takes place at the school, and then the even numbers follow a specific character, which I just love that. I just think that's so fun. So at the most, the spoiler is going to be who the book follows. If you don't want to know that, then maybe this video isn't for you. But if you are okay knowing which book follows who and like minuscule details, hi, welcome, let's go on this journey together. I don't think there's anything else left to say, so let's just go ahead and jump into the vlog. We are going to start, of course, back to the very beginning, which honestly excites me so much because I, like I said, read this 2 years ago, maybe a little even more than that. So it's been a while, and honestly, I could use a refresher of like who's who because some of it is a little bit fuzzy. So I'm going to start here, work our way through. I can't even tell you how excited I am. I'm so excited. I am here with my first update. I read through Every Heart a Doorway last night, and I mean, do I need to say anything else? This is the first in the series. It sets up everything perfectly. And let me just real quick, if you don't know what the series is about, like, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you probably know what the series is about, but just in case, this is a portal fantasy series where our characters go through different doors and they go into other worlds. So we have, you know, some that go to like the underworld, places like Candyland, Narnia, like these kind of references are made in the book. They're not called those things, but those are kind of the vibes through the different doors. Everyone goes to someplace different, and this book is about the children who go through those different doors and then bounce back and are trying to like acclimate to regular society again, which I'm sure, as you can imagine, is very difficult when you are away for a extended period of time. I mean, some of these kids are gone for like 5 to 10 years in their other world, and like time works differently, you know, in those different things. So what maybe 5 to 10 years there is like 6 months in the real world, or vice versa. It's very cool. And we have the Wayward School for Children, which is for the kids who have gone to these other worlds and bounced back. And we have Eleanor West. She runs the school. She's trying to help these kids like acclimate to the real world. So in this one in particular, we kind of get like the lore of what happens, and we are following our main character Nancy, who has been to a world that's kind of like the underworld. The world of the dead, essentially, and she has gotten back. Her parents think that she is just like making it all up. They don't really understand. They want to like fill her world with color again, and she's very much like, I just want to be monochromatic, whatever. So they send her away to Eleanor West School, and she meets everyone. So we kind of get the cast of characters that we're going to be following throughout the series. And then a murder happens at the school, and we're trying to solve that murder along with everyone there and really getting a feel for everyone's personality. And one thing I freaking love about this series is not only is it like one of the most inclusive series that I have ever read, from your representation to race to mental health to different disorders, everything like that, but they're actually very dark. Like, it sounds like it's a fun time, and it is, and it's like on that weird line of being like really cozy, but it covers such dark themes and it goes in such dark, gruesome directions, and each book has a different like dark theme to it. This one kind of covers a lot of them because we're meeting all of these characters and getting to know them and what they're like, but you know, there's some of them like say that carry like child obesity and SA and mental health and gender and race and like all of these different things, and it's just so incredibly well done. Anyways, that's a long, I said that was going to be quick. That wasn't quick, but whatever. So I read the first one. This is like a warm hug to me. Like, I get the same feeling reading this that like I do like watching like ASMR. It gives me the tingles. It just makes me feel some type of way. I just love these characters so much. I love this school setting. I love following the mystery throughout them, and there were so many aspects of this that I had forgotten. Maybe I just like didn't pick up on the first time around, so I'm so happy to be rereading it. So I mean, 5 out of 5 stars. What else do I need to say? It's perfect. It's the perfect intro into this series, and I just love it. I am partway through Down Among the Sticks and Bones, which follows Jack and Jill from this book and kind of goes through what happened to them behind their door. So we have that, and I am like only partway through. I think I only got like 30 pages in. I was having like a weird vertigo day, and so I just needed to like not read because my eyes were like bouncing. It's not fun. Not a good time. Sometimes vertigo and reading like just like does not go hand in hand. But before I let you go, I did get some book mail that I wanted to open with you. This is the only thing that I got from like the Barnes & Noble half off sale, because they, I think, very quickly realized their mistake and put books like on sale for half price, because they didn't do that at first. Well, they did online, but not in store. Anyways, I ordered this offline and I'm very excited. This is a book / series that I have been wanting for a long time. I have not read it, so it is kind of like a cover buy, but I have no doubt that this is going to be right up my alley. Oh my god, it's so exciting. So it is the Amari and the Night Brothers box set, so it's the two of them in hardcover. Oh my god, is she not precious and like absolutely stunning? I am going to be participating in Blackathon in February, which is a readathon put on by Jessie, and I am so excited. I want to read this. I have a list of other books that I want to read, and I was like, you know what, it's half off right now. Like, it was half off the box set, which like we love, so it was basically like 2 for the price of 1. You can't beat that. You can't beat that. So as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I'm getting that. So I'll probably end up reading the whole series, and by whole series, I mean the 2 of them. I don't know if this is just a duology, or if there are going to be more books in the series. I have to look that up, but I have no doubt that I am absolutely going to adore this. I mean, it's giving like Legendborn to me. I'm sure it has nothing similar about it, but it's just giving the same vibe, and I loved Legendborn. Anyways, this is a middle grade fantasy, if I didn't say, and I'm just, oh my god, I'm so over the moon about it. Sun is beaming on me. So I'm going to continue upon my day. I have some other like just admin-y stuff to do, and then I will update you, of course, as I read more. I'll probably not update you after every single book, at least for the first few, because I've already read them before. I wanted to update you after this one and kind of give like what the series was about, but I'll probably read the next few and then give you my thoughts and feelings on like the first 4 that I've already read, and that way we can spend more time going over the ones that I haven't read yet. Oh my god, the sun is like right in my eyeballs right now. I'm glowing. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm gonna read the first 4 like pretty back to back to back, and then give you an update, and then just kind of let you know out of those ones which one's my favorite and that kind of thing, and then we can spend more time on the ones that I haven't read yet. So I need to leave this room or else put some sunglasses on, but like really. So, I have finished the first 4 that I have already read before. So I figured I would give you a quick little recap on my thoughts and my feelings and my ratings before I get into the ones that I haven't read yet. We have Down Among the Sticks and Bones, which follows. Now, if you don't want to be spoiled on which book like follows who, maybe this isn't the vlog for you, because I am going to say who the book follows. I'm not going to give any spoilers of what happens, but I am going to tell you who we follow in each book, or else this vlog would be completely pointless. So, in this one, we follow Jack and Jill from the first one, and this is by far the one that has like stuck with me the most. Even upon second reread, I'm like, This book is absolutely incredible. So of course, 5 stars. I love it. I also just love how dark these books get. And in this one, we cover a lot around gender identity, not necessarily like how you identify, but how you just feel in your own body and like how your personality is and like fits your gender overall, because we have these twins and they're both forced to be like the girliest of girls, but one of them feels more tomboyish, but she's never allowed to like embrace that side of her. And if she's like, you know, studying or whatever, it's very much like looked down upon. So we talk about it in that sense of like your personality and like how that can go into gender and that kind of thing. So we talk a lot about that. We also of course talk about like mental health and that kind of thing. So I love it. I love this one so much. And then we have kind of a fun one with Beneath the Sugar Sky. This one follows Rini, who is the daughter of Sumi from the first one, and I'm not gonna spoil anything that happens, but it is a wild time, and Rini is like the most outspoken, couldn't give two shits kind of gal, and I just love that about her. You know, she falls out of the sky, she's nude when it happens, and she's like, what, you've never seen like a vagina before? Like, it's no big deal, guys, like, chill out, it's fine. And like, she just has her personality, and it is so funny, and I just love the adventure in this one. We bring a lot of the characters back together because this is one that takes place kind of at the school. It's only at the school for a little bit, and then we go on an adventure. But it brings the cast of characters back together again, and I love that. We also get to go to different worlds, which is just so freaking fun. And the descriptions that Shauna Maguire gives are just, you're absolutely there. Like, you can imagine it to a T. This one was also 5 stars for me. Like, I'm obsessed with it. It's so funny. And in this one, we talk a lot about obesity and how people who are deemed overweight are automatically deemed unhealthy when like that's not the case. They can be more athletic than the next person. So we talk a lot about that in this one, which I just love. I just love the deeper theme so much. It's done so well. We have that, and then we go to In an Absent Dream, which follows Lundy, who is kind of Eleanor West's like right hand like sidekick from the first one, and we follow her backstory. And I'm not gonna lie, this one is probably my least favorite in the series so far. I gave it 4 stars. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still really enjoyed it. We go to a place called the Goblin Market, we get Lundy's whole backstory, and I don't know, there is something about this one that just like does not do it for me like the other ones. And like honestly, you could play a drinking game with this one of how many times the phrase fair value is said. It's like beyond repetitive. Like I said, I still enjoyed it. I still love getting Lundy's story, and the way this ends, like the epilogue, just ties everything back together so perfectly, and I just love it. I love the ending of this one, but there's just something about it that just doesn't hit the same for me amongst all of the other ones that I've read so far. Now I'm saying so far because I still have the rest of the series to go. But I will say this one so far is like not my favorite. So those are the 4 that I have read already, and they were rereads. And then I read Come Tumbling Down, which is number 5, and oh my god, I am so happy that we got this one, because Down Among the Sticks and Bones ends on kind of a cliffhanger, and I have just always wondered, being that this one is one of my favorites, like I've always just had that like, oh my god, I hope we come back to this because I really need to know like the rest of the story. And in this one, we get the rest of the story. So again, we're revisiting Jack and Jill and what has happened, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but oh my lord, this one is really dark and disturbing in so many ways. Have the crew who goes on an adventure to try to fix something. That's as vague as I'm going to keep it. And it's just so heartbreaking. And like I said, dark, and there's just so much packed into these 200 pages, but I'm so happy we got it because I feel like we now finally have come full circle with them and like got the satisfying ending that I wanted, and I'm just so happy about that. This one again touches on a lot of like mental health around like Jack and Jill, and it also reveals that Jack has OCD, so we have like even more representation. And if I didn't say say already, there's like queer relationships across the board, and also every kind of representation between gender and queer relationships you could possibly imagine in these books. And this one solidified for me that Christopher, who is someone that we got introduced to, I believe in the first book, if not then the third book, he is like hands down so far my favorite character. I just have a soft spot for Christopher, and I really hope one of the ones that I haven't read yet covers his backstory, because I need that. I need more of Christopher's story in my life. I just freaking adore him so much, and even more so in this book we get just a little bit more of him and his personality and like the things that he cares about, and oh my god, it's a lot. We also get more of him in this one, and it just makes my heart flutter. I love him so much. But yeah, this one was definitely needed, and oh my god, I'm so happy to finally have read this one, and like I said, kind of gotten like the conclusion that I was wanting and needing. So hands down, 5 stars for this one. I also love that this one touches on a bit of Frankenstein. Like there's definitely vibes of Frankenstein in here, which I just love because it totally sets the tone and the atmosphere for this, and it's just that like ominous feeling, and it's just so good. It's so good. So 5 stars for this one for sure. That's where I'm at so far, and we're gonna move on to Across the Green Grass Fields tonight. This one I think introduces us to a new character. Yeah, Reagan. I don't know who Reagan is. At least I don't think I know who Reagan is yet, so that'll be fun. I am just having like the utmost fun right now. I can't even explain it. Do I look a little disheveled today? Because I feel a little disheveled. It has been a day. It is currently Thursday. I went out. I was like so good with my timing this morning. Woke up at a good time, got my workout in, went for a WALK. I can't say the word because someone is listening. And showered, had breakfast, got ready, was like so good on timing today because I had a bunch of errands to do. And went out, did some of my errands, and then my car battery died. Luckily, it died in the Target parking lot, which is only like 10 minutes from our house. I do have AAA, but my wonderful husband came and gave me a jump. And then I was like, ooh, I have to go grocery shopping, but that's like 30 minutes away. That's a bit risky to do with a dying car battery. So I went to the auto parts store, got a new battery, but it was like a whole thing because they put it in for you, which is like so kind and so nice. But my battery is so old that like the bolts were corroded, so it took him like 40 minutes, and which doesn't sound like a long time. And I'm so grateful that it was like, one, that he could do it right away, but also that it wasn't like absolutely frigid outside. But I had to pee so bad, and the store is like this tiny hole in a wall store. It's like a local store, and it just, no. Like, no, I'm not using the bathroom in there if there was one. So I just had to pee so bad, and I was like, well, now it's like so late in the day because it just like took long, and it's just been a day. I'm not like overly stressed about it. Like, it is what it is. These things happen, and it didn't like completely ruin my day, but like timing wise, I was doing so good, being so productive and getting so many things done, and then that happens, and I was like, maybe this is a sign. We're gonna slow down, we're gonna relax today, and like, I just don't have it in me to drive 30 minutes to go grocery shopping because that's the closest Trader Joe's, and like, I'm a Trader Joe's gal, okay? Just don't have it in me today. I'm cold, I had to pee, so I came home, got some lunch, and now I just have some stuff to do, and I'm like, I'm not doing it, so I'm gonna have to go tomorrow morning, which is fine. You know what? It's fine, but like, really like threw a wrench in my plan there. I'm also out of breath because I was just playing with the dog. I was running around. You're like, anyways, I wanted to give you an update because I have finished it. I always say this wrong. Across the Green Grass Fields. It always goes to come out the green and then I always just forget about the across. Anyways, I finished Across the Green Grass Fields, and you know what? I do think this is my least favorite out of the bunch so far. I said that about In an Absent Dream, but I actually think I like In an Absent Dream more than this one. Don't get me wrong, things that I love about this is, one, we have unicorns and centaurs in here, which, like, so fun. We love to read about that. I just absolutely love it. And we also have an intersex main character in here, which is not something you read about very often. And, like, that's one thing, like, hats off to Shauna Maguire for literally covering every sort of person that you could imagine, from race to gender to identity to their DNA makeup, like literally across the board, like every mental health condition you could possibly imagine, like everything is represented in these books, and it's done, in my opinion, very well. Now, no, I don't struggle with some of the things or identify as some of the things, so I can't say that for sure, but I have never seen someone talk about it in a negative light, so I guess that's saying something. Regardless of that though, like, I just love seeing so much representation across the board, and like, I've never read from an intersex main character's point of view, and I just think it was so well done. She's also very young, so it talks about her like finding out and what that feels like, and then, you know, being so young and having to deal with that in like a school setting and friends and that kind of thing. I thought it was incredible. So I did enjoy that fact, but the whole story behind the door and like what she finds in her world and like her kind of quest behind the door, it wasn't my favorite. Was it bad? No. I think I'm gonna give this one 3.5 stars because I didn't enjoy it as much as In an Absent Dream, and I give In an Absent Dream 4 stars. Could it be a 3.75? Maybe. Am I going rogue with my ratings this year? Normally I don't do like 0.25 or 0.75. It's like a 3, a 3.5, a 4, a 4.5, etc. Maybe this year is the year that I go rogue with my ratings and give this like a 3.75 because I still really enjoyed it. Like, this series just has my whole heart, so I still loved it, but it definitely is my least favorite so far. I did enjoy Reagan as a character though, and I liked seeing her growth throughout the story, and I think she shows up again later in this series, so I'm interested to see how that goes because this one ends on a bit of a cliffhanger for her story, so I would like to see that wrapped up a little bit more. But yeah, that's my feelings on this one. I'm going to move to Where the Drowned Girls Go next. I believe we are back at the school for that one, and if I remember correctly, this one has something to do with like Eleanor West School and then another school that also like houses portal fantasy kids. That's just what I'm calling them. Kids who have been to different worlds, whatever. So I'm interested to see how that goes. I think that's the one. Also, all of the rest of them are like 150 pages or less. There were a few there that are like over 200 pages, but the 3 that I have left are all quite short. So I have a feeling I'll be able to get to them pretty quickly. So yeah, I will keep you updated on that. I also just got all of the stuff in. We got new bedding because if you didn't know, I don't know if I've ever said this before, it's not like a big deal, but our cute little Z has some pee-pee probs. It's just like a female dog thing, and it doesn't happen to every female dog, but it happened to her, where she just like sometimes leaks a little bit. So we got a new duvet and duvet cover, and then we also got a waterproof blanket to put on the top of it, so we're gonna like take our comforter off during the day and then use the waterproof blanket because washing a duvet is so, it's like huge. We have a king size duvet. We don't have a king size bed, we have a king size duvet. There's a tip for you. If you sleep with someone in the same bed as you, and you have a queen size bed, get the king size comforter, okay? Ain't nobody got time to be fighting for blankets. highly recommend the king. Anyways, we have a king size comforter, so like our washing machine just doesn't do it that well, and so like it was time. We've had ours for years and years and years and years. It withstand our other dog, and now Zeddy, and with her stuff, I'm just like, we needed a new one. It's time. So got a new one, and then a waterproof blanket to like suffice, and she actually loves the waterproof blanket. It's very soft and cozy for being waterproof, so I think she thinks it's like her play blanket. She's just loving it. So I did get new bedding though. I'm not gonna set it up today, but I will keep you posted because oh my god, the duvet cover that I got, it's so cute. I can't even stand it. Can't even stand it. So I will show that to you once it's all put together. That's my update. Now I'm gonna go actually do some more adult things. I feel like I've adulted out today, but like I need to get some things done. So off I go. Very exciting things. At least I'm such a sucker. I'm such a sucker. And every single month I feel like it's Christmas morning when I get my book of the month. I literally look forward to them dropping these selections every single month. I'm not one of those crazy people that like comments. Okay, I shouldn't call them crazy, but like I get it. The excitement, it's real or whatever, but like people go insane in their comment section like 5 days before the beginning of the month and are like, where are the selections? And I'm like, do you realize they launch like on the first of the month? Like sometimes they'll do it like the day before or 2 days before, depending upon when it lands and like how long the month is. But like they're supposed to come out on the first. Slow your roll. But like I also get the excitement and I'm also like eagerly anticipating, but like with patience, you know? Anyways, I thought I would open this with you because I'm very excited for my selections. I went a little rogue because that's just my reading this year. Is me, one, stepping out of my comfort zone, but also just reading things that I think I'm going to absolutely love and like not second guessing it in the slightest. And I feel like this box is a reflection of that. Oh my god, it's even prettier in person. Oh my god, I can't. Okay, so my February pick, I decided to go with Heartless Hunter. I just saw this cover and was like, that moth is like calling to me, and like this might be a little bit spicier than I like in my fantasy, but at the same time I'm okay if it has like a good plot. Oh my god, the detail on this moth is actually insane. It's so pretty. And I know this is the first in a series, so like if I love it, then obviously I'll continue in the series. And also this is a new author to me, so that's very exciting. And I don't know, there was just something about this cover. I was like, that needs to be my book of the month. Like, I don't even care. Also, like this little blurb I'm totally here for. It says, enemies to lovers doesn't get more high stakes than a witch and a witch hunter falling in love. And it's romantasy, and like I'm just like here for romantasy now. And also I somebody asked me for like fantasy recommendations the other day, and literally I was like, all of the ones that I've read are YA, or at least like new adult. I've not really gotten into a lot of adult fantasy, so I need to change that. So we have this. And then you all know me, like this is not my jam typically. However, this has a twist, so like I've decided to go for it. It's a romance, and I decided to go with Butcher and Blackbird as an add-on because it's a romance about serial killers, and like, I'm sorry. You give me that, yes, I will read that for sure. I also know this is the first in a series as well. Look at me. I need to start a spreadsheet of all the series that I'm reading. It's actually becoming a problem in like the best way. But I just love this cover. I love that it has like cleaver, is that what that's called? A chainsaw, the skull, the axe, crossbones, like everything. And I've just heard like incredible things about this, and like a fun way, like not to take it too seriously, but because it's obviously a romance about serial killers. But also I've heard that the trigger warnings, content and trigger warnings is like, there's like a freaking list. And the first one, eyeballs and eye sockets, amateur surgery, skin ornaments, chainsaws, asks, knives, scalpels, a lot of sharp objects, accidental cannibalism, not so accidental cannibalism. Like, the list is actually like more than two. It's a page and then some, which just means it's my kind of romance book. What does that say about me? I don't know. We're not going to think too much about it. And then I decided to just go with one more that I've had on my TBR for a while. Lexi on BookTube, her channel is Alexandra Roslin. She talked about this book so many times. Whenever she does recommendation videos, she always is talking about this book. And I was like, I need to read it. And it's The Inheritance of, I don't want to mispronounce it, Orchida Divina. I'm gonna learn how to say it, but I've heard incredible things about this as well. It says, the stars have shifted, the earth has turned, the time is here, I am dying, come and collect your inheritance. And this is just about a woman who, I believe her mother passes away, or her grandmother, and she has to go and obviously collect her inheritance, but there's also things like magic and that kind of thing, and this cover is stunning, and look like the roses on the back. I'm so excited. I just felt like this was a very, like, it's weird. Sometimes my boxes are so cohesive and sometimes they're rogue, but I feel like for some reason, like, these just work together this month. Like, we have a romantasy, a romance, but like also all of these covers are absolutely stunning. Especially these two. Like, these two together. Are you kidding me? Great. Love it. So excited. Don't know when I'm going to read each of these. That's to be said. We're just gonna add them to the TBR shelf. Anyways, I'm also here to give you my final update on the Wayward Children series, because I did read the last three, which, like, they all match so nicely. Like, if you didn't know that these were different books, they all look like they could be the same book by just holding them like this. But oh my god, we have things to talk about, okay? We have Where the Drowned Girls Go, which is a 5-star from me. I actually really enjoyed this one. I thought it was a good transition one. So this one, we are following Cora, who is feeling just kind of down, just different after their last adventure. That's all I'm going to say. And she just feels like Eleanor's school is not necessarily the right place for her at the moment, so she decides to transfer to another school who is known for helping kids who have been through the portals. And in this one, where Eleanor tries to help them like adapt, this other school tries to make them forget. And Cora just feels like that's what she needs right now, so we're following her through that, but we also meet a whole different cast of characters, and I just liked being at this different school for the time being. It's a lot darker, it's a lot more sinister, there's definitely a mystery that we're unfolding as well, and we really get to see like a lot of growth from Cora, but also we have these other characters that we're bringing in, which really transitions well into the rest of the series. So I really liked this one. Like I said, being at the different school setting, I really enjoyed it. It's not like I enjoyed the school and what was happening there. I absolutely did not. But I think it's good to switch up the setting every once in a while. I mean, obviously we're getting all these different worlds in the in-between books, but even just the mix-up of like the setting of the school, I thought was really interesting. So I really enjoyed this one, gave it 5 stars. Then we have Lost in the Moment and Found, which like, I really wish I had the camera on while I was reading the beginning of this book, or just like any part of this book, because I was sobbing. Literally, the first, I would say, 30 to 50 pages of this book are completely and utterly heartbreaking and really difficult to read. Now, Shauna Maguire does an incredible job, and she gives a warning at the beginning. There's a page at the beginning that gives a breakdown of what to expect in this book, and also talks about her experience with trauma and what that meant for her in this book, but also gives like trigger warnings and content warnings for what's ahead. And I really appreciate that. We haven't necessarily needed that so much in the rest of them because they haven't been as dark as this one, but this one in particular covers SA, so it's definitely, it needed that, and especially when it comes to SA and a child. It was a lot. It was a lot, and I'm one that, like, takes in true crime. I watch a lot of crime shows, like, consume a lot of that kind of content, and even for me, reading the beginning of this book was so utterly heartbreaking and really difficult to get through. Now, what I will say is that Shauna Maguire does an incredible job. I think, one, because of her own experience, which she explains, but also just overall character of this book and how everything is handled and the sensitivity around everything that is handled, I just think is incredibly well done. And it does take a turn before, I don't want to say before anything serious happens, because that's not the case, but before, how does she put it? She says, I want to offer you the reassurance Antsy runs. Before anything can actually happen, Antsy runs. So in this one, we are following Antoinette's character, and she is just the cutest little bean on the planet. If you are not listening to the audiobooks of these, I highly recommend it, because all of the audiobooks, each character has their own individual voice. You can tell who is who, even if we don't have like different narrators, they each have their own individual accents and the way they sound. And this one in particular, I think just really what brought the emotion for me, because Antsy's voice is so small and delicate and scared, and just, it really brings this book to life, and like the worst way, but also in the best way. And I just, oh my god, the audiobook, it really got me. I love her little voice. She's so cute. She's such a tiny little nugget, and you just want to like reach through and squeeze her and comfort her, and just like the things that happened at the beginning, you just like want to be there for her in every single way. And like I read, you know, she runs before anything happens, and she finds her door, and she goes through, and she is shoved into this store. It's almost like a thrift store of sorts, where lost things go, and the story takes off from there, and it's just beautiful. Like I said, it's so well done. It's heartbreaking. The end is actually really heartbreaking, but so hopeful at the same time, and I just really loved getting her perspective and getting a story from her, and just what happens to her through this. Like, you can't help but feel for her. Man, Antoinette has become like a pillar character in the turn of this, like in the later half of the series, and I'm so happy about it. And especially, you know, leading into the next one, she plays a big role into Mislaid parts in Halfknown as well. This was also 5 stars for me. Look, it's really easy to give these 5 stars, okay? It's so easy, especially when you're reading them back to back to back, because they kind of all merge together. Other than the 4-star and the 3-star that I gave, I think those were the ones, or maybe I had 2 3-stars. It's so hard to remember at this point. Regardless, other than those 2 specifically, I just can't help but give these 5 stars. I just really can't. I love them so much. The one thing that I will say about this one is that I wish we got more of the dinosaur world. In this one, we are back with the gang at the school, and they have to go on another adventure because it is number 9 and the odds are at the school. So they starts off at the school. It kind of picks up where this one leaves off, where Auntie is just getting to the school. She's kind of trying to transition into life there, learn the ins and outs, and then she's kind of getting bullied a little bit as well, and then the core group kind of come together and go off on this adventure, and they end up in the Lost World, which is this world of dinosaurs. But what I will say is that this book is only 146 pages long, and we didn't get to the Lost World until like 100 pages in, and we were only there for like a chapter or 2, and I just wish we got so much more of it. I feel like the cover is very deceiving. I think it served a purpose, and I'm really happy we got there, but I also think it was a little deceiving because I just wanted to be in the Lost World for longer. I'm a dinosaur gal. I freaking love dinosaurs, so I just want to be there, and I wanted to experience more of that. So like, could I knock a little 1/2 star off for that? Sure, but like, honestly, just the overall tone of this one, I had to give it 5 stars, and where we end up in the end, I also just got a little misty. I'm telling you, reading these back to back to back, you really do get so much more invested in the characters. So I got a little misty at the end. It was just a lot. I also will say, I feel like this one is also kind of a transitional one. I'm so curious to see how many books are actually going to be in this entire series, because this one felt like a recap. So in a lot of points in this one, Shauna Maguire did a very good job of like, when they mentioned a character, you know, I feel like sometimes you can be like, if you don't read them back to back and you read them like a year apart, you know, as they're coming out, you're like, wait, who was that again? But in this one, we have her kind of explaining, you know, oh, we have Reagan. Was she the one that, you know, did this? Oh, she's the one that, you know, went here and had this talent. So she's doing like a little bit of a recap. Also, this one felt like it could have been at the beginning of the series. I mean, not with like all of the events that happened, but in the way that this explains and break down the portal fantasy and how the doors actually work and what it means in terms of like time and that kind of thing. Like, it felt like someone, almost like she was taking note. Like someone was like, you need to explain that a little bit deeper and like not leave it so to the imagination. And I feel like she really did that in this one. Did I feel like we needed it? Not necessarily, but I do appreciate digging more into the fantasy because I love that, and I love to know like the inner workings and like why things are happening. So I don't think it was necessary. Like, we get it, you know, they go to different worlds or whatever. Like, we don't necessarily need to know how it works, but I appreciate the breakdown of it and diving further into the fantasy. I just thought it was great. Also, in this one, we get a little bit more of Cade's story. Now, we do know that Cade's story is going to be the last in the series, so whenever that comes, that is going to be the final one. His story is going to be the last, which makes me think we're gonna leave on an even number. So I'm curious, like, is it gonna be 20 books? Like, what is happening? I need to know. But we did get a little bit more into his story in here. Just like a little sneak peek, and like, my heartstrings cannot handle it. That is the end of my reading experience with the Wayward Children series. Final thoughts on the series, or my experience with the series in this way, is highly recommend reading them back to back. I know it's a lot. It's 9 books. It is a commitment, but it makes you understand things so much more, follow the characters so much more, where you're not like, who was that again? What did they go? Where did they go? And then all the little adventures and like details that happened, you get it so much more fully reading them back to back. So I highly recommend doing it at some point. I need Christopher's book immediately. He is my favorite character, I think. I mean, he's like one of my top favorite characters, and I need his book ASAP. So I really hope that he's one of the next ones that comes out, because I need his story and I need his book immediately. And I am just so obsessed with the way that Shauna Maguire weaves in every sort of representation you could ever possibly imagine. I mean, in this one, we even have a child who is albino, and she talks about how, you know, obviously people are like, oh, I didn't realize you were because you don't have, you know, red or pink pigment to your eyes. And she's like, that's like such a whole statement. Like, not every albino child or albino person has that pigment. Sometimes they do retain their actual eye color. So like literally every single mental health, identity of any sort, race, like everything is all representative in all of these books, and it's done with such incredible sensitivity and knowledge. You can tell that she does her research beforehand and doesn't just like throw it in there to have the sort of representation. She really wants every single person in the world to feel seen, and I think she does an incredible job. So I am truly just obsessed with this series. I'm so happy I did this. Like I said, it was a commitment reading them back to back to back. I definitely feel like I could use a thriller in my life for sure, but I just had the best time. So highly, highly, highly recommend checking out the series and doing this at some point, because it is just, I mean, you feel like you're in another world. You literally feel like you are alongside them in their adventures, and like, who doesn't want that? That is all for me in this vlog. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe if you are not already. Turn the bell so you never miss a video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!
With you and I, the future